here we are.
We're both in the same place at the same time.
And we made it, and everything's good. Except for you found something like really disturbing.
In Star Tribune. Because I still get the actual paper.
You get a physical, actual page-turning paper?
Yeah. And I also pay for the online version because I think one should pay for journalism.
I agree too.
So, but the story that was in the April 30th edition of the Star Tribune was that syphilis cases in babies are going up.
Okay, so if a baby has syphilis, that means the mother had it when she was pregnant. Okay.
Yes, and so you can the problem is that this can create, you could even have a stillborn child if you have undiagnosed syphilis.
Okay.
Plus a lot of other diseases, it really is dangerous for the child. And of course it's dangerous for the mother or the mother's partner and stuff like that, because most of these diseases, chlamydia, syphilis, stuff like that, don't actually have outward symptoms on the majority of folks who get these, who get a sexually transmitted disease. And so I'm wondering, and it's, and I'm going through the, we'll post the article, and I may have already actually posted it because I was just so excited about it, getting the information out.
Yeah.
Is the fact that the people it's like they forgot that these exist. Sort of like people who don't get vaccinated for measles and all that sort of crap. It's sort of out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
There was so much condom use in the 80s and 90s that people just didn't really think about. The rates were dropping. People were doing that. These diseases did not go away. And a lot of them have, and to some extent, have become antibiotic resistant too. So the ones that have survived are stronger than they used to be. But it is, it is not embarrassing to ask for. You can, to ask for an STD test. It's a safe, healthy thing that you do for yourself and for your partners. And if you're, of childbearing age and you're thinking about becoming pregnant, get tested, because you can take care of this. You can prevent very nasty things happening to your fetus and then eventually your, child.
That's true.
Yeah. But the rates are just, like I said, that it went from, the report showed 32,024 cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis in 2018, a 3% increase from 2017.
In Minnesota. Okay.
And that is huge. And it doesn't need to be. Because condoms are... Just because HIV, just because some of these things are not death sentences anymore, does not mean that condoms are optional.
No, that's true.
Protect yourself. Have that conversation.
Well, and, I have to admit to not knowing a ton about syphilis and gonorrhea, because you're right. I grew up in an era where the condom use was the thing to do, and those diseases you didn't hear about. But I did see, of all things, a Law and Order SVU episode. And long story short, the murderer that they caught was a guy whose brain had basically turned to Swiss cheese from undiagnosed syphilis.
Yeah. And there's also a crap ton of baggage, because the Tuskegee, there were cases in the decades ago where they allowed African American men to not get treated so they could follow the disease. So there's a lot of racism involved in the diagnosis and treatment and stuff. The baggage, leftover baggage from decades and decades ago. But you need to. I was just in for a regular appointment, and they asked if I wanted a screen, and I'm like, sure, go ahead. I don't think there's there wasn't anything, but but if they don't offer, you ask.
Okay.
It's going through there. I think it's important that people do that, because there was absolutely no reason. A lot of the folks, according to the articles, there are reasons for this. You've got homelessness. You've got a lot of different things that have increased in poverty, and there are still issues with health insurance and all that. But if you have the means, you can protect yourself and others. Get tested. Just ask for it. Say, hey, to screen for it. You don't know. This stuff can lay dormant for years.
Good point.
Going through there.
Well, thank you for finding that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the rest of our normal Great Northern Sex Cast stuff, I have a note. You have some web page info for us.
It's taken, our new website went live August 7th or 8th of 2018.
Okay.
And there were a few things that I hadn't finished on it. One was the... what I call the educational resources page. Years ago, I had done a lot of writing. Sex during pregnancy, anal sex, care and feeding of your vibrators, all that sort of stuff. But it occurred to me, some of it was dated, material stuff had changed. And I'm like, why am I going to reinvent the wheel? So I have found what I decided to do is, instead of rewriting everything, I have a resources page on the Fantasy Gifts page now that has links to incredible resources. Planned Parenthood, American Cancer Society, of the AARP, just places that have good, solid, science-backed up evidence on questions you might have about sex, sexuality, all these things.
Oh, cool.
Like I said, why am I reinventing the wheel?
Yep.
These are the sources.
Yep.
So the resources page is there. Now, mind you, I'm not, they're not endorsing me. Well, technically I'm endorsing them, but you know what I mean? He's going through there. But I figured, why invent the wheel? So the education and resource page is up on there. Plus the fact that we finally, mind you, it is 2019, finally got an online job application.
Oh, nice.
So that's there. I'm hoping that will help out a lot, because people were like, really? Paper still? Yeah. I mean, you can still go to a store and get a paper one. You can still, when you see the ads and stuff like that, you can still email in a resume and stuff like that. And the store managers will get a hold of you. But managed to do those two things. And I was really excited about that.
That's cool.
To finally get that done, because I just wanted to make sure that everything was going well. I mean, and I just had to rewrite up a couple things too, because we have a lot of part-time, it's retail, part-time employees switch over. I think I've talked about this before, but when we got the new site, it was, I had to give up a few things. I had to give up the fact that when you order something, you can't pick it up in the store anymore, because I'm working with a partner.
Oh, right.
I'm not physically stocking the merchandise, which means I'm working with a distributor that has tens of thousands of more items that I can carry in a store, much like Target, Walmart, anyone. At Home Depot, Walgreens, everybody has. You go to their online site, there's a hell of a lot more online than there is in people's physical stores.
Sure.
But my customers were really used to what was on my site is in my stores.
Oh, okay.
And so it's no longer that. I had to give up a little bit, so a few folks have been a little frustrated, and I'm sorry, but I had to make a decision.
Yep.
A functional website with information that shows some items, that has my maps. Maps are important. People need to know where the store are, stuff like that.
Yep.
I had to make that trade-off.
Sure.
So we don't care. And it's impossible for us to go through the tens of thousands of items and edit it to say in stock, not in stock, especially on the lingerie, because even in my 8 stores, we don't carry the same items.
Sure.
Stores have different personalities. We only buy stuff for 2 or 3 stores. We arrange it. Because, if you buy something and it's great, I can reorder it. But if I buy something for 8 stores and it's dead, and it's not a good item, which doesn't happen because that often, but it does. No, there's no perfect buying.
Yep. And
so like I said, I had to make some decisions. And so about the trade-offs, a functional site or and honestly, I had an unfunctional site for close to 2 years.
I know. And that's why, exactly that idea of having to go online and have it shipped versus being able to see that seems perfectly fair. And I know how much time you spent on all that.
Yeah.
So,
and so I know that it gets a little frustrating for my store employees that have to explain this over and over again. But I think as folks go on to it, they're going to, like I said, they were used to one thing. I switched it to another, and and I do appreciate the learning curve and stuff like that. And I appreciate the folks that are there. And I do apologize for not being able to have everything in the store that you might walk in and saying, I want this.
Yep.
But like I said, I had to make some choices.
Yep.
And, as a small business, the changes in banking and internet rules and all that, I was always playing catch up.
Yeah.
And it was this way I don't have to worry about that. And I have a functional site.
Perfect.
So that's what's going on, with the website. But I'm really happy now. And if there are folks out there that know of really good resources, you can certainly, email, something. If I miss something over there, like, hey, this was a great resource on pegging, you can send the suggestion to customer service at fantasygifts.com, and I'll take a look at it. Maybe put that up on the site.
Perfect. Nice. Today I found this interesting story. It's almost like a reverse. I don't know. You'll understand what I mean, because it's just a twist on stuff that goes on and that we sometimes talk about, whatnot. So this woman shared a picture on Twitter, and she goes by the handle Purple Goddess. Okay. But she
like it already. I like purple. I like
well,
goddess.
you might not like her in a minute.
I like it in a minute. Okay.
She shared a picture of her, quote, fine dermatologist and got herself in big trouble. The tweet went viral and social media users went absolutely bananas saying that she invaded his privacy. So she's a hairdresser in Maryland and she had visited the doctor and his name, I'm not going to say it but it's here. And she also took a picture of his business card and put it up. And so she's since deleted it.
Possible harassment. Is this like the Alex from Target? Remember that teenage boy that was local here? And someone took a picture of the really, really, what this teenager thought this other cute, it was Alex from Target.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, a year or so, 2 years ago, something like that. I'm not sure that you just should randomly, I mean, I know that people have tweeted pictures of people being assholes on airplanes and or man spreading on the subway and, behavior that should, that involves a little bit of shame. But for the most part, I don't think I would want a random picture of me, well, maybe if I was saving a puppy, but you know what I mean? I think, or maybe ask.
Yeah. It's funny. The commentary ranged from people, accusing her of harassment, stalking, sexual harassment to other people saying, hey, is this really any different than people posting photos of celebrities that are taken without their knowledge? And then others said, she was probably in a maybe poorly done way trying to just pay him a compliment. So
yeah, you don't really know when you put something out on the web. I have to think about, because I've got, I've got all the Yelp pages, something like, okay, Google. Yeah. Okay, I've got a Google business page for every store because people want to look up stuff, maps and all that. And people can post photos to my Google page.
That's weird.
And I'm not sure how to turn it off yet. I have to look into it. But somebody posted pictures. I think they were trying to post a picture of our candy machine that we had to have a little, in the store. But they managed to post like 3 other pictures on their phone. One was like a sign. Another one was of their messy living room when they were watching TV. And then something, and I'm like, and I was unable to delete them. I had to report, but there's nothing. I think I should be able to delete photos off of my
business
page. And it's a verified business page too. I've done all that stuff. Oh, believe me, that was a fucking show years ago. But it was very strange. I mean, so I need to, on my to-do list today is to research a little bit there. And I hate this. I might have to pay what I call extortion money to a third party that works with Google to figure out, to turn off, allow other folks to add photos.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking maybe they didn't realize that they had hit more than one thing on their phone. Or, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I don't want to, it's not like, you can report it, but it's just a mistake. As far as I can tell, I think, I there's no malicious intent. So like somebody posted a dick pic on the page.
Yeah.
It was like a picture of their real, I'm not sure they really want their really messy living room on my website.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. Yeah. It had to have been some flub of the sort. But yeah, the fact that you can't see, I've been seeing a few too many stories lately about how creepy the tech companies are getting. And Google is definitely in that mix. And so keep us posted about what happens with that, because that's weird. That is weird. Okay. Scrotox. Botox for balls.
Okay, so what I meant...
The look on your face.
Because generally, a scrotum is a rather wrinkly bit of flesh.
Yes.
And Botox is generally used to get rid of wrinkles.
That's correct, Colleen. Again.
So the vision, when you said that I had, was like these perfectly round...
balls?
Unwrinkly, spherical, balls. Little.
Scrotox is also known as ball ironing. So it also allows the testicles to hang down further and appear bigger.
Well, hanging down further keeps them cooler, which could possibly increase virility.
Okay.
Because I do know folks that have had their testicles that were just up too high.
And it was too hot.
And they cook their little guys. And so you need to have,
This treatment that is widely available in Australia, the effect of it lasts for about 4 months. And
I'm sorry, but I know it's stereotypical. But an Australian accent and Australian guys, and I don't know because they started from England and they got all the way over there. So I'm not sure what happened to
how they morphed
that made them into more attractive, folks. But why?
And they were criminals too.
Yeah, they were criminals. And maybe that's it.
I don't know.
But bad boys, it's like a whole continent of bad boys and bad girls. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm trying to envision your basic isn't like the guy that played Thor. Australian or something.
I think so.
Yeah, whatever that, stuff like that. I'm sure his balls are perfect. They do not need any Scrotox.
No, well, here's the thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. My brain.
No, that's why we love you.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that in addition to just, people just wanting smoother balls, which, there's those people willing to pay the $1,000 per treatment cost of this. But a lot of reasons guys ask for it is because they have tightly contracted scrotums squeezing up on their testicles and they actually have pain.
Oh, okay.
So it helps the scrotum relax and allow the testes to hang a bit lower and offer some relief.
Skinny jeans?
Huh?
Do you suppose maybe caused by skinny jeans?
Could be.
I can see that. It's going through there. If you're dealing with little guys that are up too high, if you're doing it for that, that's fine. I do not see the idea of cosmetic Botox for one's scrotum, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Much like we tell women, by the way, your vulva and your lady bits are just fine the way they are.
Yeah.
Guys, penis and balls, exactly fine the way you are.
Unless you have pain.
Unless you have pain. Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. It's kind of funny, though. They do go through and it's kind of an interesting article because they explain that there's like 55 little injections and it really is limited to the nerves, not that, but, they do have to be careful. But he said, this one guy that they quoted says he's feeling so much better, but he says, I have a whole bunch of friends saying, hey man, show us your balls. Because their friends all knew that he went to do it.
There was I had a friend who had some breast reduction surgery, and then I had a tattoo. And there was a party once eons ago where there's a bunch of women in a bathroom showing each other our boobs between.
Showing boobs. Okay,
showing boobs. Yeah. Because between tats and some it was hilarious. It was like Boobarama. Haley, how'd that go?
Let me see.
I understand. You would be curious. And
yes.
To some extent, body parts is body parts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you did something that unusual,
if you were in pain, you're talking, and it's really awesome, honestly, that the guys are talking.
Yeah. Because
there could be somebody else who's in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Scrotox.
The name too is
classic. So I find a lot of stories on something called Mumsnet.
British women seem to be very, very open in the sharing of the trials and tribulations and the joys of motherhood.
Yeah,
that's really quite fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this guy was so upset that his wife had a 12-hour labor. And he threw a gripe up online saying he wasn't offered tea while his wife was having 12-hour labor. He said it was a disgrace and made me feel quite mad. Here's a quote. All the tax and national insurance I pay, and not even a courtesy of a tea bag now and then, or even just like I had a right to be there supporting my missus.
Only 12 hours?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I have not. I've said this before, neither of us have given birth. I have not given birth, made my family, through the choices of adoption, stuff like that. But I have been in the delivery room for 9 births.
That's amazing.
I am really, really good at helping friends at giving birth. And I'm pretty sure that any of them would have loved only a 12-hour lecture for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, my poor mom, God rest her soul, was 24 hours because she had me induced, and I said no, and I went breech.
Yeah.
So our relationship, you know, set the stage early.
Oh, yeah. Although, I've been watching a lot of British TV.
Yeah.
I've got, and I'm wondering. I mean, tea seems to be a thing.
Oh, it's a big deal.
I mean, I mean, as much as coffee is here, it's always about. I mean, everything involves tea.
Yeah.
But I mean, and the thing is, though, I've been there, and if I wanted, I didn't drink coffee with my friends because my friends couldn't have anything in case, they get sips of water, stuff like that. I wasn't going to sit around and drink coffee in front of them when they couldn't have any coffee, and stuff like that. But
tea is not just a beverage in England.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not. It's a whole social thing. But this guy's still a spoiled freaking brat.
Oh my God.
Okay, this. I love this lady. I really do. 39-year-old gal is making a. She tried to make her daughter a themed birthday cake. And she was, maybe not the best artist ever.
In other words, this should be on Cake Rex, maybe?
Pretty much. It's supposed to be unicorn. Turned out to be like Uni-porn. To the extent that all of her friends were like, do not take that out of the box in the restaurant. It looks like a dildo coming out of the cake. Like, you can't. She's like, no, it's just the horn. And her friends were really saying, don't. And they're saying, we even feel wrong eating this thing. And I mean, it's hilarious. I'll send you the I
am fascinated the amount of things that human beings can. I mean, I know that we're wired to see faces. That's how that works, to try and figure things out. It's our old lizard brain, something safe, not safe, stuff like that. But I mean, second to that has to be the ability to see penis or boobs in anything that is not penis or boobs. It's going through there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, then again, a unicorn cake, if she's did something like, I mean, I've gone down the rabbit hole of watching cake decorating videos sometimes.
It's amazing.
And I'm like, that is a lot of work. I mean, it's
an amazing
it's brilliant.
art.
It's really nice and stuff like that. And I don't have the patience for it, but yeah, I can see where a unicorn cake could go bad very easily.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Got another bargain store clerk that said, I can do more. I was meant for more in life. And so she ditched that job and became $100 an hour dominatrix.
That seems pretty cheap. Oh, there is a new show on Netflix called Bonding.
Really?
And it's about the two main characters are a grad student and her best friend, and she's a dominatrix to pay for things, and she needs an assistant. And it looks like there's like 6 or 8 episodes. I've gotten through about 2 or 3 of them on Netflix right now. And there's some controversy saying it's not realistic and all this sort of stuff.
Is that the one where the guy is gay? Her assistant's the gay guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I actually have that in here.
And I started watching, and I've watched like 3 episodes now.
Is it funny?
And then there are parts of it that are realistic, and then I went and read some of the people that were saying it's not realistic, and not everybody, because I haven't watched all of them yet, but then again, what sort of TV is realistic? You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, believe me, nobody in New York has an apartment like they had on Friends.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So, but it is sort of fascinating. There's one scene where I'm like, I'm watching it and they're shopping, and it's a very small, the shot's very small, and so I can't see a lot of it, but I'm like, oh, do I recognize those handcuffs? Hey, look at that whip. It was whenever I see something like that, I'm always playing, can I guess the merchandise?
Oh yeah.
And the products and stuff like that. And I do like I said, they're not going to get everything right, but I think they're going to get a fair amount of it right. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I've only watched like 3 of the episodes now. I haven't gone all the way through.
Is this supposed to be like documentary? Like
no. It's a comedy. It's much more of a let's call it a dramedy.
Dramedy. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going through there because there are. I was, I was looking at the actors, a lot of them, they've done different things and stuff like that. And I'm like, it takes a lot of guts to some extent to take on roles like this, because some of the stuff is fairly graphic.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, that follows you around the rest of your life. Or are you considered, hey, if they're willing to do this, I bet they can do this. I'm enjoying it, but part of me is analyzing it too.
Okay, I got to watch. Well, I like some of the tidbits. We'll put the article up on, but this gal's 41. She's been doing it for 10 years and she's successful. She said some of her regulars come from varying walks of life. She's got a human pony and a 70-year-old who loves tickle torture.
Yeah. But really $100 an hour, she's totally shortchanging herself.
Well, yeah, maybe. And I love this last line. If you think you've got a new kink, you haven't. No. I will have seen it before.
I sent you, I found another article too about the fact that puppy play out in San Francisco is becoming, it's not closeted. There were whole events out in public where people where these guys are dressed up like dogs and puppies and puppy play and stuff like that. It's the latest thing to just sort of go mainstream.
Wow.
And it's a lot, and it's going through there. So I know I sent that to Megan, but and so I was going to talk to Tara. Tara and Liz actually are out. The company that we work with for our website, and they're actually out in at a 4-day show. So they're going to seminars and all that sort of stuff and learning more about the products and merchandise and all that sort of stuff. So I expect to hear back from them next week. What city are they
in right now?
Somewhere in Colorado.
Okay, yep. Because I ran into Tara, who's the buyer for Fantasy Gifts, or the main buyer, right?
Yeah, the hard goods, yeah.
Yep, and Liz does the lingerie
and shoes, greeting cards, stuff like that.
Yep, and Tara was saying that she had a lot coming up.
Yeah, honestly, they're going from 9 to 9 every day.
Yeah,
it is. They get one evening where they might have some time on their own.
Oh, wow.
But if they're going to be flying 2 folks out there, they're going to
make them look at everything.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, this I just threw. I do not fully understand. British football or world international football, which AKA soccer.
Yeah, but just the fact that stadiums that hold over 100,000 and the rivalries. The stadium just opened here in St. Paul.
Yeah,
and it holds 20,000 plus or something, and it's fascinating, but it's not and I get the athleticism of it, but
yeah. Well, and there's the terms. It's it's just very foreign to me. But I did pull a story about this because it relates to what we do here at the GNS. I think it's funny. Manchester United, which is a name you hear a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, and there's this rivalry and this whole big thing where they leave dildos behind in the dugouts, and it's a thing, and they get moved around. I have no idea exactly why they do it, but just so you know,
I am fascinated by the two things. Dildos are either icky or
hilarious,
or they're hilarious.
Yeah,
there doesn't seem to be there's no middle ground on the dildo. When Portland was when people were tying them together and flinging them over over wires, yep, or you get left there, or the fact that I don't know, it's just sort of weird. It's just a thing. People have been making them since they were able to carve them out of wood and stone.
True.
Yeah, and Simmons. There's ancient friends were just somewhere in Italy, and they found thousands of year old carving of a dick on a wall.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Shocking to me statistic. Okay. Maybe not you. A new study shows that 50% of women between the ages of 16 and 24 have a body part other than their ears pierced. So Rihanna, Kendall Jenner, and Perry Edwards have just joined the ranks of those who have nipple piercing, and the trend is, taking up.
Yeah, that always ebbs and flows. You've got nose piercing, nipple piercing. A lot of people have done the little eyebrow one and stuff like that. Put it this way. I am almost 54 years old. I just had to go have my right ear. Well, it wasn't pierced because there was no blood. It's just that it sort of closed up again. I have this problem if I go just a few weeks without having a pair of earrings in my right ear, the damn thing shrinks up, and they got to shove it through. So the idea of piercing something else and having constant maintenance on it has always sort of ugged me out. Mm-hmm. But I have plenty of staff that have an eyebrow or a nose piercing. I'm sure there's other piercings that I don't know about, nor do I care to know about. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, in the state of Minnesota, if you are under 18, you need a parent or both parents' permission to get something pierced.
Yep.
So, I mean, they might, some of these folks might be doing it on their own. Don't get it done. I mean, professionally. I mean, even just having this ear stretched out. I mean, there was gloves, and the thing was just, but 16% doesn't seem that bad. I mean, I know a lot of folks, when they're 18, they go get a tattoo now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and honestly, a pierced nipple or an eyebrow or a nose, I mean, take it out and that heals up.
So I saw a girl. She's actually pretty cute. She came in to talk to us about doing some contract graphic design. Okay, so let's set the stage with the fact that she's artsy. Mm-hmm. She has hair down past her boobs, so very long hair that is aqua green. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, I might add. And I know that doing that, it looks cool, but it can really trash her hair.
Oh, yeah, because you got to bleach it and then dye it.
Yeah. So she had this aqua hair. Well, then she had nose piercings on either side of her nose and then both eyebrows. And she was wearing like sort of a blue and green themed sort of outfit. Still cute, funky, but very cute. Mm-hmm. But I noticed that all of the pierce points all over her face had coordinating shades of blue and green. And I thought, I know how long it takes me to get dressed. And if you fucking match all that shit up every day, oh my God.
Oh, I'm sure she has a palette that she's sticking with. You know what I mean? It's going through there. Like I said, judging by the fact that when I went over, because there's a place in Minneapolis here that St. Sabrina's right in uptown.
Oh, yeah.
I've always liked the folks over there. Yep. So, I drove by the other day. There was a parking spot in front of it. I figured this is an omen. Pulled right in, and I had the ear redone. And, I go in there, and the place is packed. I mean, there's got to be 30 people in the waiting room. People are looking at the books. Well, technically, they're not books. It looks like they've got all their folks have scanned in all their work onto computers now, so you can look at artist work. People are looking at jewelry. They're just, talking about whether they want it on their, I mean, there was just, and there was all ages in there. And I actually did see a couple of mother-daughter teams.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if it doesn't freak you out, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I have explained to my daughter, because I know she's looking at some ink. Some of her friends have already done that. I said, not in your face, your hands. Mm-hmm. I said, it's going through there, and be careful because you're getting something so young. By the time that you're 30, it's going to have not faded, bled a little bit. Yeah. The line, whatever you get, the lines, are not going to be as clear because, mine aren't, 20 years after, but I got mine in my 30s.
Yep.
So by the time you're in your mid 30s,
yep,
whatever you get's gonna bleed a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So think about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. With the nipple piercing, I thought this was an interesting line. We'll post the article on Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page, but this gal is a nurse actually who's gone into piercing, and she's got like all sorts of stuff pierced herself, but she they share some snippets about things. She said she had a girl that came in with inverted nipples, very self-conscious. But getting her nipples pierced was life-changing because it made them stick out, and suddenly her boobs looked the way she wanted. Yeah. So she was so excited. Then she talks about how people fart when they get their bits pierced. Mm-hmm. Another guy just chatted along as she pierced his penis. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
What I'm fascinated about is that I've looked it up before, but how a piercing would affect like milk ducts for breastfeeding and stuff like that. But then again, it's not like there's one hole. I mean, something I discovered, when my first friend had a baby is that milk does not come out of one thing. There's a whole bunch of little ducts right there. It's hilarious. But you don't think about it until, your friend goes, by the way, and we go, really? And we all, because you share things. And I'm just wondering if, I'm assuming that they, work with that. But like I said, I've had so many issues with one ear.
Yeah.
That the idea of piercing something else makes me cringe.
Yeah, I'm sure. So this cracks me completely up. So this guy manages a gas station, and he saw this box out by one of the pumps, right? And he went out, and lo and behold, sitting in the box was a strap-on dildo, still with the name and address of the person who it was sent to originally left on the box. And he ended up having to box it up and send it to her. So he got on like mechanics gloves. I can just picture them going all the way up to, like his armpits or something. And he said that it was so big that he had a hard time, getting it to go in a mailbox to get it there, and it did get stuck, and oh God, it was this whole thing. But she was very grateful that he took the time. But why you would not remember setting something like that down?
Okay, so you've ordered something. It has arrived,
and it was likely expensive.
And maybe it was sent to a safe pickup spot, so it's not left, because those are around, you can local convenience store, local gas station, local, Whole Foods, has lockers now, for stuff to be, cool. Stuff like that. So you pick it up and you open it and you look, and then you say, you know what, I need fuel. And then you go, and they're like, somehow, I don't, where
she was admiring it while she was pumping gas.
Where was this box?
Like on
because I'm pretty sure that I've never had to remove anything from my car
to put gas in. Me neither.
Then again, if you're like a lot of women I know, you've got about 1,000 things going through your brain at the same time. So maybe she was searching for something while she was pumping the gas instead of just,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just didn't get it put again. Because I've had, you get the groceries in the back, or you got the plastic bag recycling, or you're like, oh damn, I put my purse in the back so that I'm not tempted to go for my phone. By the way, the state of Minnesota is going to have a hands-free thing, so folks, pay attention to that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I will do that. I'll put my purse in the back so that my phone is not accessible.
Okay.
So you got to search. But I can sort of, but I think though, that is a way distracted person. If they could get their
she needs to use that Calm app or something.
Yep.
Yeah. You'll be happy to know that dolphins have clits, and big ones at that.
Dolphins are freaky little fuckers.
They have some interesting features, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They said the structure of the tissue suggests that female bottlenose dolphin, their clits may expand in response to stimulation. And they have bundles of nerves that may increase sensitivity and the potential for pleasure. And they believe that dolphins have orgasms. Thoughts?
Good for the dolphin. But there are obviously folks that don't have any problem doing it in the water. Because, they obviously don't have a lube problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is one of the weirder ones. So, okay, anime, it's what?
We sold, I don't know if it's as popular as it used to be, but I remember when I first started at Fantasy Gifts, which has been like 30 years now, early 90s here, that we sold a lot of anime movies.
Really?
There was a big call for them. I'm sure we still have some, because we still sell movies, stuff like that.
Yep.
But the images were, they were definitely, there might be some out there now, but this was definitely male point of view anime.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this probably is too. Mm-hmm. Somebody paid nearly just over $9,000 to be breastfed by an anime YouTube star in virtual reality. So just let that whole thing sink in. It's part of a crowdfunding campaign to improve this cartoon character's design. So, Note Takahana, known by fans as Note Mama, has more than 33,000 subscribers, and it's a cartoon, and it's live streamed video, and they talk about video gaming, ASMR, and anime. So they've launched this campaign to create a more convincing model, and at the top funding tier is this experience of virtual feeding from her with bottled breast milk. It was limited to one customer. They already paid. So he will receive the right, or he has earned the right to receive virtual nursing by virtual reality from Note Mama in a virtual reality app. It's an experience-based event where you can receive these oh my God. And you have to go to this event in person to enjoy the prize. It's going to be in an actual place. So you have to have all this equipment. You got to go to this place to sit there and do something in virtual reality. Does that make any sense?
Maybe it's the way my brain's wired. Maybe it's the way I'm socialized. I tend to get motion sick. So virtual reality, wearing those goggles, doing all that sort of stuff
doesn't appeal.
I can't do it.
Have you ever even tried?
Yeah,
you have,
and they make me nauseated. I can't wear them, and that's a huge problem. I think we've talked about this before.
Yep.
The fact that so many people get motion sick with virtual reality, and so they're trying to get past that. I think that if people weren't getting sick, it would even be more popular. But I just, but also I'm also not a gamer, which is probably, a lot of different things just don't, not in my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. But out of all the things you can spend money on, that's less than like a first class ticket from here to Singapore in one of those cabins, stuff like that. That's like $12,000, $15,000.
If you make your money and on an honest living, knock yourself out. I just think that's freaking weird. Mm-hmm. This did not happen in Florida. I'm going to preface it. It was Los Angeles.
So it's California man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this 29-year-old California man was fatally shot by a McDonald's security guard after causing chaos at 2 fast food restaurants. The LA County Sheriff reported that the suspect crashed his car into a Carl's Jr., and by the time officers arrived on the scene, the man had fled the vehicle and run across the street to McDonald's, shedding his clothing in the process, armed with a knife. This unidentified crash causer ran into McDonald's and stabbed somebody. A poor 88-year-old man that was dining with his grandkid.
So, once again, this is horrific in general.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think we would hear about it if the person hadn't taken off their clothes.
I agree.
I don't. Well, why that piece of information? Honestly, it's pretty newsworthy. Sans naked. Does this shit happen so often
that it's only interesting?
It's only interesting if it's naked.
I don't know.
We haven't had a mass shooter yet take off their clothes, and that's still,
they're just killing people in places of worship.
Yeah, and schools and stuff like that.
So, do you remember the story? I remembered it because it was so effing gross. Remember the guy that was an overweight passenger on a Taiwanese flight, that insisted the flight attendants wipe his butt because he, said he had hand surgery, and he threatened to relieve himself in the cabin if they didn't help him, and they felt sexually harassed, and but one of them finally did it. Well, the 440-pound man ended up filing a lawsuit, and then while that was pending, he died. I'll put it this way. I'll say how much I weigh. I weigh anywhere between 212 and 220.
Okay. I got some extra pounds on me. I have the difficult time getting into an airline bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand how anyone larger than me, gets into an airline bathroom and stuff like that. Just going through there.
Yeah.
I just I would say that possibly he was in the wrong here.
I'm just thinking, if you have a problem, including morbid obesity, which he obviously did, it's not everybody else's problem to wipe your butt. I just don't think that becomes the airline's problem. I just think that's terrible. Guess who wants to get back into the Academy of Motion Picture Arts? Roman Polanski. In fact, he's suing. He fled the United States to avoid prison, and it was over unlawful sex with a minor back in 1978. And they kicked him out, and his attorney says, we just want a fair hearing. Do you think he should be allowed back in? I'm totally curious.
Put it this way. It's a private organization.
Yeah.
And so they get to have the rules that they want. And I don't particularly think that, I'm pretty sure that sexually assaulting a minor is not a protected class.
Yep. I'm going to go along with you on the private organization thing. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Hollywood polices itself after they take such strong stands against other people when they brought Harvey Weinstein up, This is cute as your daughter heads off to college next year. Just saying.
Yeah, today everyone is at her school, or it's decision day or something like that. I know this won't be, broadcast for a little bit, but everyone's wearing their T-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff.
Oh, from where they're going to go? Yeah. Oh, cute. Very cute. Well, if she goes to this particular Japanese college, Matsuyama University, which I know she's not going there. She's going somewhere else. But she could sign up for this one science class where you can learn how to make ecstasy.
Isn't that just called chemistry?
That's what he says.
I'm pretty sure that it doesn't take if you have rudimentary knowledge of chemistry, or if you're taking and anyone that has graduated with a chemistry degree or taken maybe not level 1 chemistry, but I'm sure once you get to third year or whatever it is chemistry, I'm sure you can make it. Well, I don't know if you need to particularly advertise the fact that this is going to be knowledge that you have afterwards.
Well, they're not doing it anymore because parents complained. But he said he was teaching his students how to manufacture ecstasy to, quote, further their knowledge of pharmaceuticals. So,
yeah,
there you go.
He doesn't need to. I'm pretty sure I could go to YouTube right now. And judging by the fact that the standards on most social media are pretty low, I'm sure I could find a video on that.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to, because I don't particularly have any interest in it, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah. So it's May. Here we are.
Yeah. It's we're going to start focusing on Pride coming up. It's going to be the 22nd, 23rd of June. I think that's the big event we have coming up. I'm not sure what we're going to be involved in, which beer fest or stuff like that this year. Sometimes it just depends on. We're tired,
but it's going to be so beautiful and time to sit on the outside and drink a gin and tonic and go inside and have sex in the air conditioning and all that good stuff.
Yeah, because you're hot and sweaty enough. You don't need to be sticking to everything else.
Air conditioner.
Yeah.